All right. So since we had such a chaotic first week to the year, what I want to talk to you about is something I kind of call the festival effect, which is where you're vibrating super high. Right? This is a thing that happens a lot of times where you go to a seminar, you go to an event, you change a lot of beliefs, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, I can see the fabric of the universe. I understand the matrix, right? Where you have this clarity, this vibration, you're like at one with the universe, and then all of a sudden your life falls apart. So how many of you have experienced something like that? You're like, wait, I thought I had it figured out. I had it figured out. I was in Montana, I had it all figured out, and now it's all just gone to shit. So there's a real reason for that, right? We do talk about it a little bit in the You and the Creator class. And when I first was introduced to that, it made so much sense, right? When I came back from getting certified to teach DNA 3, I was in that headspace of like, I could manifest anything, like everything was perfect. Wasn't quite moving things with my mind, like not big objects, but you know what I mean? Like completely in that vibration. Came home and my partner had forgotten to start the dishwasher. So we were filled with mold and I had like a 5-day migraine, right? I'm like, what? So it took me a while to really understand this concept. And we can prevent this from happening by doing the belief work around it. Does that make sense? You don't have to go through the reaching nirvana and crashing for you to work on it. So this is one of the things that you can work on today if you choose to. I mean, it's always going to be up to you. And where it comes from, it actually comes from a few different things. So one of it comes from our ancestors, right? There is a collective conscious belief in a lot of different religions that when you reach a certain vibration, that we're supposed to move up out of our bodies and go on to the next thing, that we go on to the 4th plane, the 5th plane, this, wherever we're going on to next. And so to prevent us from leaving our bodies, we ground ourselves really hard, right? And this is because there is just so many religions that honestly believe that once you attain a certain level of spirituality, a certain vibration, a certain connectedness with the Creator, that you don't get to be human anymore. So you want to look at beliefs like I have to be dead to be connected to the Creator, or that it's safe for me to be totally connected to the Creator in my human body. Right? Looking at those vibrations. Along the same line, there's also a belief too that once we finish one of our divine timings or one of our missions here in life, that we're supposed to leave, right? I went through a thing where when my father passed, where I had a ton of death doors just opening one after another. Is everybody familiar with death doors? A little bit. So those are just basically when it's your time, when you're done, a death door opens and you go through it or you don't. We all have a bunch of them. I chose not to go through them, but I could feel my body wanting to go through them because at that point in my life, I didn't realize that there was anything else more for me to do. So the reason we do this crash after reaching those heights, it really is a form of self-preservation. Your subconscious is trying to protect you because it is afraid of you getting too in tune with the universe. Because the only time your soul, for most of us, the last time that our soul felt that kind of vibration, that kind of oneness with the universe, was when we were in the 5th plane. Right? It's like, oh, that's what you want. You want to feel like that? Well, we'll take you back home and you're going to feel that way again, right? But you're like, but I'm not ready to go. So we're like, okay, so we're just going to ground you again. So there's a balance, this dance that we do between trying to reach enlightenment, trying to grow all of our virtues, and then having that other side, having our fears, having our subconscious bring us back down into this reality where it's safe, right? Making sense so far? So that's one aspect of what we could have been feeling this week. The other thing too that we definitely want to take a look at is self-sabotage. I actually had a really, really great session this week on self-sabotage. Right? And self-sabotage, sometimes it can just, that's another, self-sabotage is another way for us to prevent ourselves from getting all the things that we want in life. So it works a little bit different. It's not necessarily tied to just you reaching a higher vibration. But this is sort of like my Virgo brain knows exactly what I need to do to, do the next steps, right? For what I'm planning to do, right? But then I get a migraine and I forget about it, right? So I was subconsciously self-sabotaging myself earlier this week by getting that migraine. There's more to that story we'll talk about later though. But so you need to look at, okay, so if I know all the things, because we talked last week about going up to the creator and getting like the divinely inspired ideas. So I have these perfect divinely inspired ideas. I talk to the creator exactly what I'm going to do. And then we don't do them. Right. So what are the reasons that most people self-sabotage? Number one, we've talked about before, it's the fear of success. Right. And it's not that people go around being terrified of success. Right. A lot of people think they're afraid of failure, but a lot of us, we're very comfortable being where we're at now. That's why we're there, because we are always in our comfort level. For some people, their comfort level or their comfort zone is being in discomfort and being poor, or being like paycheck to paycheck. What happens is your subconscious knows exactly what that success is going to look like, who you're going to be, how stressed out you're going to be. So that part of your brain is going to protect you from that success because it knows the effect it's going to have. There's a certain part of your brain that wants you to stay comfortable and happy. And so it's going to stop you from getting the things that you think or that you say that you want, because it knows what you're going to feel like. Other root causes of self-sabotage is things like overwhelm. If you're already feeling overwhelmed, your subconscious is going to be like, nope, you don't get any more. You're already at your limit. Right? And of course, the cure for overwhelm is receiving support. And how many of us healers who are good at supporting other people are really that good at receiving support? Right? Some of us have to work on that a little bit, not just asking for it, but actually allowing people to help and allowing them, and without, micromanaging them or second guessing people. So then again, so the other thing that comes into that is going to be trust. Other reasons we self-sabotage. There's different things that your ego can be involved, right? As in, who do I need to be? Do I like the person that I feel that I would need to be in order to achieve that goal? Because sometimes we think, oh, I have to be mean, or I have to be an alpha guy, or I have to be this way or that way. Like I have to be that sort of way that I don't want to be, that's disingenuous, in order to have the success that I want. And that's, of course, a false perception. Also, too, it could be a matter of what is it I would have to do, right? What are the actions what I have to take in order for me to get success? Because some people think that you have to lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead. And if that's something your ancestors believed or did, right, then that may still be active in you. And then also looking at feelings around, it's never going to happen anyway. And as I go through these things, as I talk about any of these things, remember, it may not trigger you because, on the core level, because maybe these aren't your feelings, right? And when you've done, I know that a few of you have been through quite a few classes, you've done a ton of work, and you're like, okay, so I've cleared everything from me. When you cleared everything from you, because we do get to that point, then you need to start looking at your ancestors. Make sense? Just to tell you the importance of doing the ancestral work. I used to be terrified of doctors, terrified of them, because I went through some doctors who were not that awesome. They made some mistakes. Part of it was, I recognized later I was creating that out of my fears, because I actually go around with a very, very active and loud belief that modern medicine, that anyone who practiced modern medicine was literally going to kill me. right? So I worked on it because especially once I moved to Ohio and I'm marrying into a family that they're all nurses and doctors, right? So it'd be good for me to get along with my in-laws. But finally in the world relations class, I found the ancestor who had a similar fear. And once I cleared it from him, literally the next week, I found the most perfect doctor for me. Right? So if you ever get frustrated about, man, I'm working on myself, and I can't seem to find that golden nugget, right? Check the ancestors. Right? Always good to see what's going on in your genes and clear that up. All right. Any questions? You can just type some questions into the chat if you want. Or you can unmute yourself if you want to be on the recording, either way. Or is everybody ready to break out and do some work in a minute? Okay. So, all right, so we'll stop recording.